Now, if you were stuck in a forest, would you be alone with a man? Ugh. Or a bear? A wild grizzly bear? I don't know, but it seems like that's the topic we have nowadays, because people would apparently rather be stuck with a bear that would probably most likely just kill you. But we're going to look into a thing of the depths of the Zoomers, the millennials, and the dummies, and see what people have decided their fate will unveil. Now, I have no idea really what this is about purely, because I've never really... I've not really looked that much into it, so I'm very interested to see. This is a new YouTuber I've been watching, watched the one video of in the past. I think they do make really good content. But before we get into the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, I highly appreciate if you could take a second to just like this video. And also sub to the channel if you enjoy these reacts. If you want to yap with us live and watch these things live, feel free to come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Adley. We'd love to have you here, and I appreciate you watching. Now let's get into it. That's a deep sigh.
Oh boy. So you might have noticed that
I feel like that's the best way you could start this freaking intro.
a lot of people are talking about bears right now. There hasn't
And not the sexy men with hairy chests. We're talking about actual bears. So you gotta, I know there's different, but we're talking about real physical bears.
been an uptick in interest in nature documentaries, and no,
What?
they're not talking about that stressful cooking show featuring the tragic little chef with big sad blue eyes. About a month or so ago, a
Damn.
hypothetical was presented in a street interview and started to be shared around social media. Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
And almost unanimously, women everywhere have answered that they would prefer the bear.
With a bear. Bear.
Probably a bear.
Definitely a bear. A bear.
You know the fun thing is that a bear, ooh, the bears are strong. They have a claws. They'll rip you up in a second. I don't know about this. I don't think this is that is a good idea to be stuck with a bear instead of a dude, man. The dude can be chill and helpful, but the bear is most likely gonna kill you. Yeah, Susie. Hey, thank you for the T1, so I appreciate it. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The response to this, of
Hope you
course,
enjoyed the
has been
emails.
for
Thank you
men
so
to
much.
initiate a thoughtful
Susie,
discussion
Susie.
about the
Thank you.
topic.
I never hit a woman violently.
Damn.
Expect an encounter with slippery skin soon enough.
No one said anything about serial killers. Nobody said anything about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Would I rather my mom be in the woods with a guy or a creature that would
Keep
punch
listening
her,
at him.
jump up, grab her by the face, chomp down, cause her to have to take her thumb, jab it into its
Is
eyes?
there
So-
something I'm missing?
Let's talk about it. Just a quick warning up top, we are going to be getting into some pretty dark territory here. While I'll be doing my best to stay within YouTube's guidelines.
Yes, bear,
I'm gonna
sorry. I'd rather be dead than just get into some situation with a man. What are we talking about? Okay, maybe I need to watch this video because I like a situation with a man.
to cover some upsetting material. So I thought maybe we could lighten the mood a little bit.
You really not
Roar,
know?
This costume is
Like I said at the intro, I have no fucking idea what the hell we're talking about. All I know is the question. Would you rather be stuck with a man or a bear? I don't know this topic. And that's what I usually do with it. Most of my reacts, I don't know the topic. We're going in as a first glance of my like understanding of what's being discussed.
extraordinarily hot. I already regret this decision, but I'm committed. Now, am I potentially gonna make a few people upset with this video? Do I in the woods? Yes, but I think this conversation is very important, so if you are someone who got angry the moment you saw the thumbnail, then I would just ask that you bear with me and watch till the end of the video. Okay? Okay, let's start off by clarifying some things, because despite the fact that this hypothetical is extremely simple, there seems to be a lot of people unintentionally, and perhaps intentionally, misunderstanding it. First off, you don't get to choose the man you're stuck in the woods with, like this charming fellow whose favorite Pop-Tart flavor is cinnamon. apparently. That would obviously destroy the whole point of the hypothetical. If it's a choice between a bear or, say, Bear Grylls, I'm choosing the survivalist who will return my happy ass back to its natural habitat, sitting in front of my computer, playing Fallout 4 again, because the only type of light that should be touching this delicate skin is blue. This debate has quickly devolved into one side presenting statistics, personal testimonies, and criminal cases, while the other side taps the heels of their red pill slippers together, screaming, "Not all men, not all men, not all men," with their fingers jammed in their ears. Ooh, it's a random manga panel with barely legible text. I'll be here all week. I'm sure I'm about to read something intellectually stimulating. Remember, it's man or bear, not fist or bear. Hey, quick question, weeb. Who's doing all the assaults then? Because as we've mentioned on this channel before, according to the NSVRC, 1 in 5 women has experienced assault or attempted assault during her lifetime. That's millions of women, and unless they're all being harassed by Diddler Dave, who is skewing the statistics with his incredible efficiency.
You know what? Before we move on, majority of my viewers are women. So I want to ask you, chat. Do you think does the random encounters with a man or a guy make you uncomfortable? Have the perception of men now just become so weirded out with all the information, make you uncomfortable? Look at that. Look, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see a very few no, a lot of yeses, and a lot of sometimes. What does that say about our time and day of society now? Isn't that really tragic? Like, I think, dude, I'm a dude, so I think that's really sad. And I can understand that because, like, I'm socially aware enough to understand that it is really hard for any guy, I guess, to even interact with someone or interact with a random lady because of the way the perception of how the world have been set for, like, men in itself. Because there's a lot of bad outliers there that have done horrible things, and there's a lot of creeps out there constantly at parties making the perception of any guy being horrible. So why would you, whenever a woman or a girl or whatever goes through the interaction of a horrible display of a dude being a creep or a weirdo at a workplace, at a party, or anything like that, won't that really affect their perception for the rest of their life and feel a little bit more insecure around the opposite sex? Because I think it does. I think a lot of the way a lot of people behave nowadays does really, like, kind of sets a standard for everybody else. Because the thing is that, I've said this before, the human mind in many, many ways thinks about the worst outcome. They never think about the middle point. They never think about the positives. If you've gone through your day and 10 people did something great to you, but one individual was a piece of shit, they did something awful, at the end of the day, you're going to think about that negative outcome and you're not going to think about the positive ones. This is the same thing whenever you are sitting in a situation wherever you have experienced something not nice. And regarding, like, say, like a dude doing something creepy, your perception, your understand, like your trust in other men in the future will probably be much lower. And it's clear to me whenever I ask this in chat and like over 80% says yes, and sometimes it's clear to me that this is an issue. So I understand this dilemma now about the bear and man. Okay, so this is what y'all meaning. Okay, I get it now. Okay.
Mathematically speaking, there must be a non-trivial amount of men committing this type of crime. How these MFers feel after making—
The thing is that, yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be every man. Obviously, not every single man out there is a creep and a weirdo and does crimes or sexually assault or does any creepy toward women. Not even 50% of men. But you need to think again about the psychology of humans and the fact that there is men out there. There is a man out there. And there are women out there that have probably had one encounter like this once. And those encounters will stick around for a while. And that's the issue.
All men feel like they are rapists. Hey bud, You see how these two things are not the same? Isn't it so cool how they are not the same? But since
I was at a mall and a dude asked me out. I told I was 12 and I'm not, but I'm not, but he still continued. Yeah, that's like mad creepy behavior. I don't know, I don't know, chat. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with a guy coming up to a girl and say that they look beautiful, or like try to flirt with them, or say that they're interested in them. Because, like, how else are you going to communicate? But with how the world is turned now, that can often be looked as creepy and weird and not something they want to do. They don't want to socially interact with somebody. They want to listen to their music and just chill out. They don't want to talk with anyone. So whenever somebody comes up and talks to them, it's weird and annoying. And that's just how things have turned out to be. But at least if you do decide to go and flirt with someone or something like that, if they clearly says no or not interested, you should be socially aware enough in your brain to understand, you know what, let me turn around. Okay, apologize and turn around. At least apologize, right? Holy shit.
We don't want men to feel bad about themselves. Please tell us which ones women should avoid. Do they walk differently than other men? Talk differently? What kind of shoes do they wear? Look, imagine you're at a party. I know, just suspend your disbelief. Imagine you're at a party and somebody walks in with a bowl of M&Ms. Super lazy for potluck, but whatever. Now imagine you knew that some of these M&Ms were poison.
A lot of cases I've heard men have killed women because they rejected them. Yes, there are psychotic men out there. There are many psychotic men out there. There are men that have hurt women, that have done a lot of awful things because they rejected them. There are exes out there that are insane, that have hunted, like, gone after them. Women on the internet, at least, and just women in general in the world, do play in many ways on the hard mode. I know a lot of people out there want to say, like, girls have it easy because they can do this and that when they look, they get a better job because of look, blah, blah, blah. No, there's a lot of there's so many weird things that can happen as an attractive woman, or just generally as a woman, that it is very unsettling. It is extremely unsettling.
Would you take that risk? I mean, come on, they're not all poisoned. What are you, some kind of freak who prefers Skittles? That's the position that women are put in.
Raccoon is also very
They have to just put their hand in that bowl and hope for the best. So I'm as bad as any serial killers now. I'm sorry you came to that completely unrelated and self-centered conclusion. That must be really hard for you. But don't feel too bad for him though, because if you make the mistake of defending pity parties like this one, you might just make yourself a target, like this miner running a Star Wars meme account.
Some guy on TikTok DM me, and he was 28 years old, and I'm like, 15. I told him why he followed a 15-year-old, and he talked about K-pop fan page. I told him to stop talking to me, and I told him to stop following me. He continued to say that he wanted to see my face and I wanted my number, so that I was traumatized to the point and blocked him. There are pedophiles out there. That's all I can say. There's some weird people out there. There are, and the best way you can do if you encounter one, report them, block them, and move on. That's the only thing. If it's in real life, call the police. Tell your parents or call the police yourself.
Said that she would choose the man, and then was immediately overwhelmed by hordes of freaks commenting graphic descriptions of what they would do to her as a reward. Great job,
Drake
fellas.
is wild.
This
Yeah,
is
Drake
so
popping off.
Dumb. If the man is my husband or dad, brother, best friend, he would kill himself protecting you. Not sure what kind of men you guys know. Interesting, irrelevant factoid, Helen. Too bad I don't get to choose your heroic family members and or friends in this scenario. For your information, the kind of men I know are frankly epic, and I love to hang out with them because they laugh at my jokes. But they're also just kind people who are sympathetic and understanding when I bring up women's issues, instead of blowing a blood vessel trying to defend their honor.
I ain't never hit a woman violently. I ain't never put a violent hand on a woman. I ain't never assaulted a woman. No, none of that. Ever.
Wow, man. That's...
Bro, that fucking beard is insulting to me. Shave that shit off. What the fuck is...
I never assaulted a woman. No, none of that. Ever.
Wow, man, that's super cool. Should
Wait a
we throw a party?
I think that the problem is that, again, I think we're talking about a random encounter here. Also, we're talking about a random man in a forest alone with a woman. There's nobody else there. There's only you and that one. So whenever you put that kind of scenario into anyone's like brain, what are you gonna do? What if he's not? What if he's a weirdo? There's no escape. He overpowers you. It's an awful scenario to think about. It's a dreading scenario. And in a timeline that we live in now, where it's so easy to talk to more and more people out there, communication is so easy. You can talk to thousands of people every day. This is not the case in the past, but you can do it now. So you meet a lot of weird people all the time. You talk to a lot of people all the time. You hear about all these crazy shit. So whenever you have this kind of idea, like mentality around it, you definitely, I don't know. You definitely feel like you would have more chances to deal with a random bear. So I get the point over here. I get the idea over here now. Just last Friday night, some guy was staring at me till he barked at me. Is this a real story? And then he laughed at the cashier like it was funny, which got an awkward laugh out of her. I know he was trying to get my attention, but I ignored him, Lamau. But I was freaking nervous and waited till he left. So yeah, always picking bear. He barked at you? Damn.
Should we invite the Dalai Lama?
And this comes from the Wolf VTuber, by the way. Like, Chad, I would never, I wouldn't bark at you unless it's a full moon. That's the only time. All right. It's like, what the, dude? That guy must be crazy. Like, what kind of mentality? How far gone are you if you bark at random individual to flirt with them?
Hypothetical.
Wolves doesn't bark. Yeah, that's true. It's only you only owl. You only howl. The only dogs bark because barking is a fun fact. Barking is only done by dogs because dogs are actually humans' greatest invention. Humans taught dogs to bark so they can alert them easily. So the fact that dogs bark is actually a human invention. Humans taught dogs to bark. It's insane.
Would you rather encounter,
dude, what the fuck is with my face? Why am I creeped out?
In the woods when you are alone, or a bear? No one said anything about serial killers. Nobody said anything about.
What did Kenji do?
Stop changing the hypothetical.
This is not Kenji, man.
Wrong. You were the one changing the hypothetical. The man in the forest could be any man, from the most dangerous, perverted sicko that's ever roamed the streets to a Ned Flanders-esque
What are you talking about, Kenji?
Holding an impossibly delicious mug of hot chocolate. I feel like I'm going
people
insane.
Outside. I can hear people. Yeah, I don't know. Like I hate talking to people when I'm outside, like random people. Like I'm gonna be real, y'all. You guys know I'm such a bad. I love talking to people, but whenever I'm outside and I'm zoning out, I don't want to talk to people. When I'm at the gym, I don't want to talk to people. I hate when people talk to me in the gym. I want to listen to my music and zone the fuck out. So I can understand it. I just don't like it. And it's that when people mind their own space, it is weird when people interact with you. And if you are someone that can't see it, I guess it's just you. But respect their boundaries. Respect that they don't like it. And just, you know, if you talk to someone and they clearly don't want to communicate with you, just apologize and move on.
Man or a random bear. So
they are
questions
fun.
Like, what if the man is
Do you
nice?
realize they're NPCs, Abe? Do you just see what they say?
What if the man is me? What if I have a gun? What if the man is gay? What
Women
if
in
the
chat.
bear is...
By the way, I just want to say this right now. The majority of the people watching me are like girls. If you are a woman, I highly, that sounds so fucking pretty weird to say, but you know what I'm saying. you should definitely have some form of either teach yourself some kind of self-defense and also bring yourself something to defend yourself. Always have something in your purse, like anything, just anything in case you, because it's just important to have it just in case. You never know.
Gay are completely
Touch the balls. Yeah. Also, if you fight a man, hit him in the balls. Balls are very sensitive spot. It's a very sensitive spot. If you hit it hard enough, you will immobilize them enough. Just hit them hard in the balls. I swear, dude, I've been kicked in the balls when I was like a long time ago. That shit hurts. Like, apparently, some people did a study. Apparently, they checked the pain level of being like hard hit in the balls compared to birth. Apparently, being hit in the balls is much more painful. And you can think about having birth. That looks insane. So just imagine what a guy goes through whenever they get that pain. So just hit him hard in the ball. If you have a club, hit him in the ball. Hit him in him in the head and then the balls. Okay, that's the way to go. All right. Don't only do one, do twice. Double hit. That's the very important part.
Relevant. The bear
Thank you for joining self-defense course with Adley. That wolf VTuber.
Gay though. Instead of trying to understand why.
And that's the kind of bear I want to look at. What a beast in the forest with.
The bear is gay.
Damn. Like this is the bear. That is a bear. Now dude, now we're talking about that. I wouldn't mind. No. That's a good bear. That's a good bear.
Though. Instead of trying to understand why women might feel unsafe around men, many men have decided that women are simply uninformed about the dangers of bear attacks and have taken it upon themselves to educate them.
My mom got mauled by a bear. Here's a book she wrote about it. Here's a better look. So even though the question's not really in good faith, probably, I have some experience with this question.
Just because women are answering a question in a way that makes you...
Just because bears are dangerous animals that will most likely kill you. Some people would rather be murdered by a bear than tortured by a human. Just saying that.
You personally uncomfortable doesn't mean that the question was asked in bad faith. Now, after going over the details of his mother's injuries, which she thankfully survived, he concludes with this.
So if you're asked this question, you take more than a second to come up with the same species as your answer.
Bears all know that. Not every bear. I mean, have you seen Russians with bears? Practically dogs. Not all bears are bad, but a lot of them are scary. Polar bears will kill you in an instant.
Such a privileged life that your answer is the bear.
Interesting. I wonder, would you call Junka Furuta privileged? How about 12-year-old Kimberly Leach? Was she privileged?
Bear.
You know what? I think I'm gonna have to read your mom's book because the details just really aren't adding up for me. You see, I know that bear. It's a good friend of mine, and it's never attacked me. I mean, what was your mom wearing? Are you sure she didn't want the bear to attack her?
Damn.
It don't sound like that lady wanted to choose the bear. It sounded like she wanted to choose the man instead.
Whoa, wait. You're telling me that bears are apex predators? That they're not
are lovely. Look at them.
Friends that solve problems with the magic of kindness?
Wait, I'm cut blocking you. Look at this little cute one. Look at it. Oh, that's so adorable. That's so cute.
That they don't make marmalade sandwiches and talk in British accents? Gulp. What am I gonna do now?
Oh, that I'll be scared about.
Would you rather be stuck in
English
the woods
bear.
with a woman
Oh, God.
or a bear? Let me know, because I think, you know what? I think I would rather choose the bear. Because at least with the bear's not gonna just date me for my money and in the divorce.
Such a stupid thing to say. Fucking hell. It's just fucking... God, that's so dumb. These people are so dumb. Would date me for my money. How about you find... Just not someone you love, dude. Just find someone that loves you. What's wrong? Jesus Christ.
First, take half my stuff. Or more.
The worst
That's embarrassing. Yeah, that's right. That's actually embarrassing. Can you imagine he posted that on the internet?
you could think of a woman doing to you
The bear is a meat
dipping
digger,
into
bro.
your
Yeah,
bank
true.
account, dude.
You wouldn't want a gall digger, you want a meat digger.
Many men try to reverse the bear versus man hypothetical to air out their petty
Dude,
grievances
imagine being cucked by a bear.
with women.
Bro, that's crazy. You're getting the girl. She's not talking to you. She's talking to a bear. She's more interested in a bear than you. That is an insult. Holy fuck.
Only to inadvertently reveal what a different reality they live in, largely unaffected by the day-to-day precautions women must take for their own safety. I shouldn't have to say this, but being nagged or your ex-wife boinking your buddies is not comparable to being attacked by a bear. I think this comment is the perfect response to all the bear-splaining. Worst case scenario, the bear would just kill me. Choosing the bear over the man comes down to a very logical comparison of possible outcomes. The bear is an animal operating off of instinct. You've invaded its home, and if it responds with aggression, it's doing so to either defend or feed itself. A man, however, is capable of prolonged, excruciating, and degrading forms of torture requiring a level of creativity and hatred that an animal simply could not comprehend. The man understands your screams for help, knows what he is doing is wrong, but continues anyways, not out of necessity, but pleasure. It's that situation that is so horrifying that women would choose being mauled to death by a bear to avoid it. Though what both men and women don't know is that it's actually the crystallized honey epidemic ravaging local bear populations that they should be worried about. As often happens in these situations, men have suddenly decided to elevate a concern that they seem to only be interested in when it serves to silence discussions of women's safety. That is, of course, male victims of female perpetrators. I accidentally tasted the marker. Alright guys, let's make a circle representing all men and a circle representing all women. Haha, boobs. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying. Now let's make another circle in red representing, well, you get the idea. You see how a lot of that circle is on the men's side? Not all, because you can still believe and support male victims while acknowledging the basic reality that an overwhelming majority of people who commit this type of abuse are men. Isn't it crazy how you can care about both these things at the same time? For any man out there who has been victimized by a woman, I wish nothing but healing for you. But men and little boys—
Dude, you guys, like, it's, I mean, I think that in any sort of way, being like touched inappropriately by any random individual that you have no interest in is always uncomfortable. Like, I don't know, remember, dude, I don't know how many people have been grabbing my ass when I was like, yeah, dude, I don't know how many girls grabbed my ass when I went to high school. It's crazy. And it's mad weird. Nobody fucking likes it at all. It's, so I completely get that. Whenever you have these scenarios, like whenever you experience these scenarios, it does leave like off a mark. Now, does this leave off a mark for me? Nah, I kind of went over it. It didn't really, it was just weird. It was just very weird.
Boys aren't considered—
Well, yeah, I was very popular. Like, I don't know, like I work out a lot and I was very popular in high school. So whenever I went to parties or even in high school, like people would just like, there will be girls just grabbing my ass. Like, it's just, and this people, and some, it would, most of the time wouldn't be people I even, like, I wouldn't even know them. Like, it's just really weird.
Spoils of war for women to violate by the millions after achieving victory in a conflict instigated and carried out by women. There are no countries where
it makes
little
you mad
boys
and
are
comfortable, so I get
habitually
it.
married off to aging women collecting young males for their harems.
Jealous?
There are no
I wasn't dating
places
anyone.
where men are advised to only travel with a female chaperone lest they be attacked in the night by dangerous women. There
This is
isn't
girls
legislation
groping
for
people.
digital
What's that?
cameras and smartphones to make an audible
I'm just saying that, like, it happens on both parts, but it's clearly there's majority it's men. Because I know I've been like, I cannot count on my hand, okay? How many times I have had to take care of a girl and send her home safely because she's worried about the people around her. I cannot count that in a party, you know? I cannot count that on my hand. Now, I've had uncomfortable experience with creepy women. 100%. I had stalkers. I've had the weird touching me, like without even, like, you know, like without even me allowing him. But it doesn't, like, I kind of got over them. I'm over them now. Like, it doesn't really bother me now. I don't think about it that much. But it does not change the way how many times, how many weirdos girls and women have faced in parties, you know? So I completely get this narrative. I completely get the point of the argument there, if you know what I'm saying.
Noise when taking a picture because women just couldn't stop themselves from taking pictures down men's pants.
Stalkers? Yeah, I'd like two girls stalking me for a while.
Transportation. I am enthusiastically in support of any awareness raised for male victims that challenges the patriarchal demand that men stoically suffer their trauma in silence. Baby Reindeer is a recent piece of media that does an excellent job of this, but if you're someone who only mentions their experiences...
There's bad in both genders. Yes, there are bad in both genders, and some men experience like bad things. I'm just saying that... But again, it is majority. What I'm trying to say is it is majority still women that does experience this. They, like... How many men experience this? Very small percentile of men experience these things. It's not that we should brush it off like it never exists, but there's very small percentile of men that experience this. But how big percent of women do experience this? I feel like just being a girl on the internet, you already have someone stalking you. Not in the 90s?
The experiences of others to weaponize against women, I have to question your motivations. A lot of people have been saying that this hypothetical was only created to make men look bad and stoke unnecessary controversy, which is a convenient thing to believe if you are unaffected by the reality represented by the hypothetical. I'm sure back in the day when men would come home from work and their wives were yapping about having the right to vote, they would have preferred their steak dinner be uninterrupted by such divisive ideas. In response to realizing just how afraid women are of being attacked by men, men have done everything in their power over the past few weeks to reassure them that they made the right choice. For instance, drawing
I think that whenever your argument is how your response is like this, I think you're proving their points.
Images of women being torn apart by bears, posting videos of bears eating their prey and joking about it being a woman instead, making up scenarios where they're armed and capable of defending a woman from a bear but choose not to punish her for being a feminist, using a clip of Pedro Pascal of all people. How dare you invoke his image in vain?
Slippery skin. This unknown entity
Bro,
has
that
been
looks
spotted
cool.
in many places, with recent sightings primarily in the forest. Further research has shown that
Dude,
slippery
AI
skin
is
likely
horrifying.
to attack people who would rather encounter a bear.
I want to see more AI horror games. I want to see more horror games where they have used AI to create the horror monster. This is so unsettling and weird. This is cool.
Has shown that slippery skin is likely to attack people who would rather encounter a bear than a man in the woods. To increase your chances of safety, we advise against expressing such preferences in near forested areas.
Your response to women saying that they would feel unsafe alone in the woods with a strange man was to make an AI-generated video of a monster that
I'm gonna be real, I didn't even listen to what he said. I just looked at the monster. I thought it was cool.
hunts them down. Wow.
I want to do
how
another movie
very
night.
cool
Not
and
movie night,
normal of
horror
you.
night.
You definitely seem like the type of guy a woman would
I can't
feel
wait for
safe
horror
in
day.
the woods with.
What men are out there saying how much they want to be violent with women who pick the bear?
As it turns out, a lot of them. Here's some fun examples. In response to a woman saying she would choose the bear, thanks, I'm into...
These
So
people are
I'll-
proving them. That's what I'm saying. I think that this opposite reaction is clearly showing that you're proving the point. Why are you trying to prove their point? Why is they proving their point? Because they're getting defensive. They're getting heavily defensive. This is like incel behavior. Horror night? I love the horror game days. I think they're so fun.
Or this-
That last horror game day made me shiver like a lot. That was a crazy game. That was a crazy game, but I love it. I like it. I like it a lot.
one that digs a real stinker out of the old 4chan lexicon. Foyd, when I am done with you, you will beg for the bear. I love how there is just a plethora
Wow,
of
you got him.
derogatory terms specifically for women, but incels still had to rub their greasy little noggins together to come up with a spicy new slur. But don't worry, ladies, I'll protect you.
Thank you, Twitter. The biggest enemy, Twitter.
I guess when it comes down to it, I'm just shocked that men disagree so strongly with women's answer to the bear versus man hypothetical, because from my perspective, men are constantly announcing to the world how dangerous they are. Last time I checked, women haven't been the ones to dominate directors' chairs in Hollywood, yet the media I've been fed my whole life has been full of dads with shotguns, repressed nerds committing crimes under the guise of harmless pranks, and suave protagonists forcing themselves on young girls. I thought we were all on the same page here. Try this fun social experiment. Tell a man in your life that you think Game of Thrones would have been better without the graphic violence. Watch him combust, insisting that the historical integrity of the show about dragons would be destroyed if he wasn't allowed to watch conventionally attractive actresses stripped and acts of brutality simulated on them from the comfort of his living room.
I highly disagree with what she's trying to say here. I highly disagree with what she's trying to say here. I don't think this is even a point of remark to even put together with this discussion. Like, this has nothing to do with it. We're talking about cinematic storytelling that is trying to enforce feelings and trying to enforce the reality of the world and giving brutal ideas. Not every single woman in Game of Thrones was beautiful, and the same with the men. And everybody, there were men and women completely fucked up in that story. And the same goes to any fantasy story. The reason why the things are more brutal, and the reason why people want it to be brutal, is because it is so different from what the Western kind of movies are settling with nowadays, because everything has to be safe. Everything has to be like bland and boring and following a checklist. While Game of Thrones, the earliest season, shocks you, gives you shock value in nearly every single encounter. And because they are doing this, you will never expect what is going to happen. It is the unexpected, is the brutal truth of the world, and it's more interesting because of that. If you don't enjoy it, if you don't enjoy brutality in a story or in any series, then you are free to watch something else that are a little bit different. But for me, I personally think that the factor that now the specific claim is not really what makes Game of Thrones special. And it's not really even the top 10 of the things that make it special. But like this is a part of the brutality of the world of the series. And that is what makes it special, because you could never know when you watched it, unless you read the books, if your main character would die, for example. You would never know, because they suddenly brutally would be murdered in some sort of way. And it's these unexpected scenarios and the brutality of that world that makes it interesting. So what you're trying to claim here with these have no correlation in any sort of way. I get the idea of what the media is presenting of men, and men are being brutal to women or whatever. Like, I get the idea of it, but this has nothing to do with Game of Thrones, because there is a man there that has literally had his dick cut off in the scene. Some guy literally sat there for weeks torturing him, cutting off his balls, cutting off his dick. What are we talking about? It's not like there's only one side of there. This is a world of brutal enforcement everywhere.
As someone who's been playing video games since these were still popular, I've always been painfully aware of how men will do anything they can to make women feel unsafe in a space they feel belongs to them.
And I want to say that I think most of my friends that watched this was actually female. Like, I think a lot of them, I think Game of Thrones had a large female audience. Maybe not as big as male audience, I don't know. But in my area where I lived, the people that was really hyped about this and watching the most was actually girls.
A well-documented phenomenon.
Not this female. No, I guess she doesn't like it. I guess this isn't like it, but I've agreed with everything she said up to this point.
To impede on this territory are constantly subjected to dehumanizing threats.
Oh, be honest with me. Do you know what feels like?
No, I don't actually.
Well, do you want to know?
Are you saying you're gonna me?
It's not if I like it.
And if you think this type of messaging
You know
is
what I thought about? Like, this is fucked up and this guy should be banned and this should never be happening in games. But you know what I thought about? You know what's crazy is that a normal thing guys used to say in the gaming world before was that they would, you know, that word he said, they would do that to them in a sense of owning them. I forgot entirely for so long that people used to say this casually as a way of winning against them. Why? Because it was another term like owning, to basically show that you are gonna dominate them in the game. So guys would say this to guys. It was completely normal in the back in the day, and it's shifted away and gone. And I think that the way I'm explaining it has nothing to do with the way this guy is saying here. Obviously, this guy right here is literally, I mean, it is obvious. He's threatening her. When people did this in gaming before, they would just be mad and shit talking. There was more like there was just a way people used to say things in the back in the day. This is nothing to related to this clip, but I want to say that I just think it's crazy that I forgot that people used to casually say this before while playing games.
I like it.
And if you think this type of messaging is exclusive to entertainment, check out this video that recently resurfaced of what was proudly preached in a North Carolina church last summer.
You'll find more women going to have shorts on than you will with pants and dresses put together. I used to say this. I haven't said this in a long time. You ready? I said, if you dress like that and you get ripped and I'm on the jewelry, he's going to go free. You don't.
A bald, fat, old man. What do you have to say about what somebody dress? Somebody want to dress like a, if they want to dress like a, if you want to, listen, if you want to dress like a slut, hey, you want to go and have fun, you want to be free, like who why does why do you want to think this way? Like, let them dress the way they want. Maybe people will look, but like, it might be with shock value because everybody dresses like a boring slug nowadays with jeans and nothing special. But like, if you want to look sexy outside, you look sexy, but that doesn't mean that this is anything right. Like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. Like an old, nasty mentality.
Like, do you? I'm right, though. Because, you know, a man's a man.
Well,
a man is a man. Shut the fuck up.
Guy's going to hell. That was Bobby Leonard.
A man is meant to be protective. A man is not meant to be some fucking wild animal beast that is just thinking about their own pleasure. Like, that is that's not what the fuck are you talking about. Man is a man.
He was allowed to state from that pulpit what I can only describe as a confession without being dragged out the front doors by his starched collar is a condemnation on that entire congregation. So gentlemen, I guess it's our bad for believing you are what you say you are and believing you'll do what you say you'll do. But you're going to have to choose. Either A, men are mindless creatures incapable of controlling their urges so they cannot be blamed for acting on them, or B, Men are complex, rational human beings who must take responsibility for their actions. You cannot have both.
I want to say one thing. Like, if you're a dude and you're watching this, and if you're for some reason, let's say if you're an incel, okay? If you're mad in any sort of way of how women think or the way they respond to you or whatever, if you treat any girl or woman like a normal human being, just act normally and don't be a creep. Just talk like a normal, like, do you know how normal people talk? Just look at an NPC, just talk like a normal individual. You've already passed like probably like 80 to 90% of men on the internet. You're already doing a better job at getting closer to them if you just talk like a normal individual. Because like the reality is that a lot of people out there are just mad weird. Nobody want to fuck with them. Nobody want to fuck with them at all. They're annoying as fuck. They're mad creepy. So just keep that in mind.
We're all constantly bombarded with news of the terrible things that men do to women. Our society is obsessed with it, fetishizes it, yet women are expected to turn a blind eye? That is until, of course, something happens to you.
Yeah.
And you're interrogated.
It's all good and dandy until it happens to you, right? That's the thing.
Shame for not knowing better, not taking the proper precautions. It's a classic catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think the way we talk about gendered violence is completely wrong. We approach the issue as if the male population is neatly divided into good guys and bad guys, but that's not an accurate reflection of human behavior or society at all, is it? If we limit our perspective to isolated incidents, to bad apples, it allows men who don't participate in the most heinous crimes to get defensive, say, "Not I," and stop listening. But it isn't just men who don't attack women and men who do. It's men who don't attack women and men who don't see the harm in a little locker room talk at the office once in a while. I mean, come on, it's just how men are. It's men who have that one friend in their friend group who they know harasses women, but that's just Todd. You don't.
I want to say that a lot of people nowadays are socially incapable of communicating, and also they cannot read the room. I think that now with the way internet has, like, the way with the technology, I am not fucking 50 years old. I as much as I joke about being 59, I am not actually that old. But I do kind of think, in listening to old people talk and stuff like that, it seems to me that at the moment there is an issue that people are completely are not socially aware enough. In any sort of capacity that what they're doing is wrong, or understanding how to communicate with someone.
Don't get it. That's just how Todd is. It's men who keep demanding a woman's phone number
50?
over and over and over again, even though she's already told him she's not interested.
Online,
you see, if we view male violence as an integrated system,
I'm not even
where
20
the
yet.
action and
Bro,
inaction.
like, listen, I'm a fucking listen. No, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. No.
Of
I don't want to.
the good
No,
guys
I don't want to.
fuels
No.
and shields the worst offenders, then that's something that every single man can participate in dismantling by calling out bad behavior, supporting victims, and leading by example. But if you're a man that just feels angry and personally attacked by the bear versus man hypothetical, instead of seeing it as an opportunity to be the type of man a woman would feel safe alone in a forest
I'm a wolfman.
with,
Welcome. Hi.
then you're probably not the good guy you think you are. Well, guys, this has been fun, and also excruciatingly hot. But I have to go back to the forest now.
Enjoy.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, I think I've said enough to chat. I think this I don't know. I kind of get it. I get it. I think this is just, I get the dilemma. I think I've stated enough what I think. What do y'all think, chat? What do y'all think? What do y'all think, YouTube chat? Tell me down below in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. I don't know, like, this is just stupid. It's sad. It is, in the end of the day, in my opinion. I think this is a sad topic because you're talking about what the reality is, right? But yeah, If you watch this on YouTube and you enjoyed the video itself, if you enjoyed the little yap, I highly appreciate if you take a second to like this video. Also, if you enjoy these reactions, feel free to sub to the channel, and if you want to come and yap with us live, chill out with us, join us live, you're free to come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Adley. We'd love to have you, and I appreciate you watching. Now I'll see you in the next video. Bye.